And this time, I mean it.
Hello, Future Shaun here. Just a quick note to say that I was feeling increasingly ill during this recording. So if I don't sound like my usual self, it's because I just got progressively ill as the recording went on. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, enjoy. Hello and welcome to another Dinocast. I'm here with Adam.
Hey!
And as you may have intimated from our little intro there, we're not here with Jason. He's taking a break from all this. How long that's going to be is entirely up to here. So, we wish you well, Jason. Well, I do. Adam doesn't. But, right.
I wasn't going to say anything. I thought you was going to carry on. All right. I wish you well, Jason. It's all good.
The upcoming month's games of gold are Iris Fall and Astronauts. What do you think, Adam? They look cool?
Yeah. Looking forward to playing those. Look out for the videos.
Absolutely. And, and what we've got currently last month was Colts Canyon and Bladed Fury. What are your thoughts, Adam, having played them extensively, I'm sure?
Colt Canyon, I enjoyed, actually, even though it sends you back to the beginning when you die, and basically roguelike. So yeah, I did enjoy it, but I can only sort of handle that one or two goes, and then I'm done. But I have been going back, so it's not too bad on that one. Bladed Fury. Really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed the art style. Really love playing through that. That's I'm still going on that. That's a fantastic game. Love it. What about you?
I believe I was talking to you for the entirety of the amount of time I played Colt Canyon. I forget why we were chatting. It might have been something to do with the year in review, but I played about 20 minutes of it. It was largely what I expected. Do you know what? When I saw this, it immediately made me think of an awesome game I played in the past called West of Loathing, which is like a comedy RPG game with kind of somewhat, well, not exactly similar things, but I saw this and I thought, it might be someone trying to copy that, because I've never played anything quite like West of Loathing, and perhaps never will again. That's actually available on Xbox. I keep looking to see if it goes cheap, because that I will make a video on if I can get it cheap on Xbox, or if it comes onto Game Pass. I've currently only got it off Steam, and recording off my PC is a pain in the arse. But that tells you nothing about Colt Canyon. That tells you about West of Loathing. So yeah, that's my summary. Play West of Loathing. It's an excellent game. As for Bladed Fury, I've not got around to it yet. I know.
Okay.
It's been out for half a month, but I had to make that giant year in review video, which took me about 3 days and several evenings, recording and everything like that. And I just haven't had a chance to get around to it because I was completing Ghost Song, which we'll talk about in the next segment. So I loved the look of this. This is one I'm going to play and probably complete. So it's literally been put to one side until I have the opportunity to do so, because I'm really actually quite excited for that.
If you don't know what they are, Colt Canyon is basically a 2D style roguelike, and you just play through the levels. Your I think it's your partner gets kidnapped, and you've basically got to go and rescue him, and on the way you can rescue a load of others and build up a whole posse, and yes, kind of based in the Wild West. Really a lot of fun. Bladed Fury is very heavily influenced by the Asian art style, and it's the art style I find very hypnotising. It's fantastic. It really is. The art style really draws you in. But again, that's side-scrolling platformer, and it's got a heavy storyline behind it, and it's again, very, very good. But yeah, that was last month's.
Cool. But what else have you been playing?
So I tend to go. You'll probably realise this, having listened to many of them, but I tend to go back to old games rather than playing anything new, and that's largely because I'll start playing a game and I won't have time for that game. But then something else will come along and I'll start playing that game, and then the other game kind of gets left behind. So I went back to Stardew Valley. And it's basically a farming game with loads of other sort of side plot storylines going on around you. Basically, the premise of that game is your grandfather has left you a farm, and you go down there, and all the valley's people, they all know each other, being a really small community, and they all welcome you with open arms, and you can build your life however you want there, really. And you can get married, you can have kids, and there's like a whole fighting system where you can go mining for stuff and fight loads of different baddies and stuff. And then when you complete one, another one opens up elsewhere, so you can get to go to that. I've just found out they've, quite recently actually, I feel, they added another island to do with the fisherman Willie, and you can so if you befriend Willie, I think eventually you get to go on this island. So there's loads and tons of stuff that I never did, and ultimately the idea is you just got to farm the land, build your farm how you want, earn loads of money, and then go off and do all this other adventure stuff. So I went back to it, fully immersed myself into it again, and I found out a few more secrets, unlocked a few more things. It just keeps going and going and going. It's great little game.
Is this in addition to your sessions of Raft with John?
Yes, yeah. Raft is carrying on. It's paused over Christmas because of all Christmas stuff and everything else. But we plan to go back to it. Loving playing Raft at the minute, and funny enough, I dipped my toe into another game, and Phasmophobia.
Ah, yes.
Have you? Yeah. So
Cinematic G Wolf play that with his mates.
Yes, yeah. I watch a few YouTubers play it, and it just looks a lot of fun, and I thought, okay, I've got to download this and give this a go. Now, they all play as a group, and I've only ever seen groups of people play this, and they get scared playing this game. If you don't know what Phasmophobia is, it's basically a ghost hunting game. It's on PC, and you've got to go into these haunted places and identify the ghosts. You're not capturing them or anything, you've just got to identify them without getting dead. And it was one night just before Christmas, and I was alone in the house, and I thought, do you know what, I'm gonna turn this on. I'd had it for about a week at that point. I hadn't turned it on, so I thought I'm going to give this a go. And so obviously I'm playing single player. Now, even in the hub area is just like it's like a garage that they've kitted out with all their equipment, and then that's where you select the levels and stuff like that. Even in there, I started to get a bit jittery, should I say. I loaded up all the first level. I had no money, so I'm with the basic equipment, and I've gone into this first house, and on my life, I'm not kidding you, I crapped a brick. I really did crap a brick. I scared myself silly. Now, I don't have a massive history with PC games, so I'm trying to make an effort to play PC games. Hence the Raft and other games. So yeah, that was part of that. So I'm getting used to playing on a keyboard. I know you can plug in a controller, but I don't know, that feels like cheating. So I'm trying to get used to the keyboard and WDSA, and I set up all the other keys and so to open up your inventory and quick select on a couple of other items, and so there's like first action and second action on this, so you can like click on a door and stuff like that. That's like first action, and then second action I think is to turn equipment on, I think something like that. And there's all other little bits and pieces like this. Then you've got in your notebook, you got all the evidence you're collecting and stuff like that. So all the time you spend in a house in the dark, your sanity level drops. Now, when your sanity level drops below 50%, I think it is, it's done as a collective. So if there's more than one of you, it takes the average. But obviously it was just me. So I was keeping a heavy eye on that, and I had all my keys, and nothing was happening at the beginning because my sanity was quite high, and I'm trying to find out where the ghost is, and I notice freezing breath. I didn't have a thermometer because I couldn't buy one, but that's one of the clues. So I could see myself breathing all of a sudden, so I knew it was freezing. So all right, that's one of the clues. So jotted that down, and I thought that was the area, so I set all the equipment up there and that I had, went back to the van, having a look through the camera, couldn't see anything, went back in because I thought, perhaps I've got the wrong room. As I walk into this room, all of a sudden, so these things happen called events. They're not a full-on ghost hunt. They're just an event happens. So either like a light smashing, or the ghost might appear and flicker for a bit in front of you, or something might move, or anything along those lines. And the one that appeared, being as it was the Christmas period, they've added this new Christmas little thing to it. This ghost appeared right in front of me, right on top of me, with a creepy ass Christmas hat on, jingling bells, screaming in my face, and I crapped a brick. I tried my hardest to press like the WDSA to get out of there, totally mucked up, ended up crouched on the floor, ended up throwing away my torch, and now I can't see because it's pitch black. And I'm just like screaming at the computer, get out, get out! And I eventually get out, and I look at the sanity, and it's only at like, I think it was like 70%, something like that, 65, 70%. So I'm not going to get a hunt for another 15%, something like that. But I thought, I'm not going back in. I'm done. I'm not going back in. And I just purely guessed. Now there's a lot of ghosts to choose from, but I was trying to narrow it down with what I saw, and I just clicked on this ghost and ended the level, and somehow I got it right. God knows how, and I ended up getting paid for it. And I thought, okay, I think that's enough for me on my own. I'm going to get some other people to play with because that absolutely shit me up. But I still want to play it. It's like one of them. I know I'm going to get scared, but I really want to play it. But yeah.
Do you think it'd be made worse though by other people's panic on top of your own?
I think it would cause an element of chaos, but almost like comfort chaos. So you'd be scared still, but because your mate's there, it's like not as scared, You're
putting on a brave face.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, and then you can sort of creep around the house together type thing. So yeah, I'm desperately trying to get people to play it, but we'll it is a fantastic game. If you're into horror games, yeah, really, really good. Which is weird because I hate horrors. But what about you? What have you been playing?
I was just going to say on hating horrors, I could now recommend some very good ones. It's the various horathons I've been to over the last several years and stuff. It was always a genre I wasn't particularly interested in, but I went to these to hang out with my friend, and yeah, now I've become quite the fan of
Excellent.
these things. But as for me, well, depending on your reading, Ghost Song is kind of a horror game. It's got heavy, very heavy horror elements. But I finished that. I was heading towards the end of it on our last Dinocast, I think. I completed it right at the last second before Christmas. I think I did it well as well. I finished it, but it's Metroidvania, so I knew there was some more things to find, not a lot.
Yeah.
But I wanted to see the ending, and then because I couldn't get up in a particular area. If you played the game, you'll know the one. It's the one that's lots of very hard jumps. So yeah, I managed to eventually do that with one jump less than you're meant to have to do it. And I speak it's all a joke, which leads to the big, if not revelation, then certainly confirmation of what's going on. So I needed to meet another character who hadn't appeared before, or I hadn't met before I finished the game the first time. Then you need to get into this other area and do a couple other things, and then it's all laid out before you, and it's just it's I really. When I got the second ending, so the first ending is great, and I was like, oh, that's quite fulfilling, but I don't quite know what we're gonna... When on the second one, I'm like, all right, yeah, you've brought me to tears. This is just beautiful and very, very sad. Loved it. But yeah, I like a really, really tough pattern-based boss. Always have. I was like, when Halo came out way back when, and they were like, oh, we're not doing bosses and stuff, I'm like, okay, this is a new way to go. This is kind of cool. But I played a load of games without traditional bosses per se before Halo anyway. But sorry, I'm getting into a bit of a tangent. I don't know why. I'll probably cut that bit out. What was I saying? I'm very tired. I like a super tough pattern-based boss, is what I was saying. And yeah, this has got them in spades. The bosses, like, you can get through areas with relative ease. It's never a game that you can quite just run around without paying any attention, because it will kill you. But then you find a boss and everything ramps up massively. You have to learn their patterns, learn when best to use. You get this ability relatively early on that gives you a short dash, and while you're doing that dash, you're invulnerable, so you have to perfectly be timing this and stuff like that. Really, really fun. Figuring out when you have the opportunity to shoot. Yeah, really, really, really loved that game. I've bought the soundtrack now. It's got some really great and grossing music. And that was really, really good. But the reason I wanted to finish that is because I have had thematic whiplash. So yeah.
Not literal, I hope.
Ghost Song is a miserable shooter with brutal difficulty that tells a sad little story. And I played Kirby in the Forgotten Land, and I'm having the absolute best time. I played the demo for the channel quite some time ago, which convinced me to give the game a shot. So yeah, I got it from... It was on sale on Amazon Oh, is it Prime Day they have? Whatever their special sale day is.
Yeah.
It came down, came down about a fiver, not massively, but that was enough. So I got it for Christmas off some people, and yeah, I've been playing it pretty non-stop for about 5 or 6 days. Well, non-stop when I've been in 5 or 6 days, and I'm just doing the very, very not the it's got this wonderful thing. You complete the game and it says to be continued, then it immediately opens up another thing which allows you to do the extra bit. So I'm just doing the extra bit now. But yeah, it's just delightful. It is actually quite challenging in places, but nothing I'd call hard. It's just some bits are a bit tricky, and because you're playing a Kirby game, you don't take it very seriously, and it can catch you a little off guard. I was talking to my mate about it the other day because there's a couple of bosses I was having trouble with, and he was like, well, you need to block. And I'm like, I don't block. It's a fucking Kirby game, not Dark Souls. I like to get if anyone's played this, I like to get the tornado power up and get in their face. It's like, that's probably why you can't do it without getting hit. I'm like, yeah, but I will do it. I've done it for all the other ones. There's only 2 I need. So yeah, 2 very, very different games I've been playing, but both are equally excellent on their own merits. Kirby is delightful. But what have you been watching, mate?
So, I've picked up this new series, totally out of the blue as well. Me and my wife, when we put the kids to bed, we like to have our adult series that we can delve into, stuff that they don't, can't watch. No, nothing on that side of thing. No. just a lot more stuff with like swords and violence and stuff you can't watch with kids because they tend to copy. So yeah, and we was watching still are, should I say, Willow, and we keep flicking back to the Lord of the Rings series that is going on, the Rings of Power. Keep going back to that. And a few other series. So we wasn't really looking for another series to watch, but was just flicking through Now TV and saw this one, and it's Surreal Estate.
Okay.
And it's I think it's on Sci-Fi Channel, I believe, but we don't have Sky, so we've got Now TV instead. And I'll just read you the little synopsis here, just to give you an idea. So, realtor Luke Roman and an elite team of specialists handle the cases that no one else can. Haunted and possessed houses that literally scare would-be buyers away. So, the idea is, this guy, he senses ghosts or spirits and other things. Has ever since he was a kid, and he's got this like crack team with him with special abilities of their own, as in skill wise. You got a tech guy that can build pretty much any sort of tech to deal with the ghosts. You've got an ex.
Wait. Is this like a show, or is this a
This is a
reality
TV
show?
series. No, this is a TV series.
The way you were first describing it, I thought it was like a...
Oh, no, it's not real. No,
whatever you call it, quote-unquote, reality show. And so I'm like, yeah, this guy can build anything. And I'm like, oh, hang on, I might have the wrong end of the stick here.
Yeah.
Like Most Haunted.
No,
Continue.
That along the lines of Most Haunted, kind of. Just picture that, but as an estate agent instead. So there's obviously out in the world there's these houses that are haunted, and so you think to yourself, well, what do people do to these haunted houses. Obviously, nobody's going to want to buy them. Well, that's where these guys come in, and they deal with the ghost. Then they do the house up, and then they sell it. That's the idea. Sounds a bit crazy, but what it does, it gives you a very comedy horror type, or almost not really horror, kind of a thriller, like comedy thriller, I'd say. And it's fantastic. It really is. You've got all the horror-y, scary bits of all the different types of spirits that haunt these places, and then you've got the comedy of this like team that are going in to deal with the stuff, and you've got a guy there who is an ex-priest, and so he does all the research, and then you've got an office manager who kind of really. She's her skills kind of a bit widespread. She sort of dabbles in everything, and then the show starts with them bringing in this estate agent who is basically top of the tree, or was top of the tree. Like she can sell anything type thing, and she's really good with people. But she lost her job, and this guy brought her on, and then you find out why later on. Obviously I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, and so she's brought in, and it's about her being blended into the fold of this quite tight-knit team, and yeah, just the crazy stuff that happens after that is absolutely nuts, and we've been hooked ever since. We literally binge watch as much as we can within the hours that we have. The stars, I've seen the main guy in do you remember that series with I think it's White Earp's great granddaughter or something?
Winona Earp.
That's that.
Do you know what? It's weird.
Go
I know the name, but I've never seen it.
Yes, right. I hadn't seen it, but I know one of the guys in it, Tim Rosen. So he's in this, and then you've got Sarah Levy. She plays the state agent that comes into the team, and then you got Adam Corson, who I believe that's the priest guy. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, and yeah, it's created by George Olsen. If anybody knows who that is, and yeah, it's absolutely fantastic.
How much of
really,
it is
really
there?
good.
How many seasons?
So God, I believe there's 14 episodes so far.
Well, he's going to say seasons.
No. It's very new. It's no, sorry. There's 10 episodes of season 1 out. Yes, that's right. And but there is a season 2. I don't know if they've filmed it yet though. So I was just having a quick look. But it was made in 2021, so very, very recent.
Oh right, so yeah, probably just got pushed back a bit because of the because of COVID.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, it's fantastic. It really is good. It's really got to see. It just come completely out of left field. Cause I don't know if you do this. You're just flicking through, just having a look, see what's there. You know, you've got your series that you're watching, so you're not really after anything. But then that came up, and it was like, oh, let's have a little look at that. Like after one episode, I sort of turned to my wife. So, what did you think? She went, I love it. I want to watch more. I was like, yes, finally, thank you. Right, let's watch more. And yeah, we just started binge watching. well, as much as we could. We're now, unfortunately, we're at that stage where we've got to wait for the next episode to come out, I believe. Yeah, I was correct. 10. Okay. Yeah, we can move on. Cool. I just wanted to make sure. I got my facts right there. I hate that. So yeah, dude, what have you been watching?
Well, okay, I've been watching quite a lot because I've had a little bit of time off. So let's start
nice.
with the best thing I've been watching. Did you see the Detectorists special?
No, I did not. Any good?
So good. Have you ever seen the show?
Yes, yes, yes. I've seen the show. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's perhaps a bit bigger story than they've done before, I guess. But it was so, because it was an hour and a half. It was so in keeping with back in the 80s and stuff. You'd get these movies for old sitcoms, so Steptoe and Son got a couple, and Porridge got a couple.
That's right.
And,
yeah.
like the story was always a little bigger, but felt completely, didn't feel like it was necessarily outside the show. It felt like a logical progression rather than this is the movie version. Like, if you watch, it's actually part of people's complaints about Bob's Burgers movie, just to go on a little bit of a side thing. Like, if you watch the Simpsons movie, that is a movie with the Simpsons in it, but it doesn't feel like the show. It does feel like the show, but it feels like a movie version of the show. Whereas Bob's Burgers, the movie, feels like a hour and a half version of episode long of Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, just an extended version type thing. Yeah.
So this is kind of the same. So it's longer, and they've suitably expanded the scope of what's going on, while still delivering an incredibly powerful and intimate look into so many aspects of the aging male psyche and what friendships are based on, and small town communities, and all these wonderful things it's done in all the seasons past.
Yeah,
and it had a cracker of an ending as well. You just think it's all wrapped up really nicely, and it gives you one last thing of hope, just for one nice little kind of last endorphin rush of happiness. It was really, really fantastic. I don't watch a lot of or follow a lot of things that are the new aesthetic is cozy, cozy games and cozy shows. But I think it would be very easy to mistake Detectorists for a cozy show, whereas actually is an incredibly deep and complex thing, and the performances in it from everyone, from like the obviously the two leads, right down to like some of the silly little side characters who appear a bit one note. They're all just perfect and so intricate. It's just absolutely incredible, and this is the only thing, or was the only thing I'd watched on any kind of network television in God knows how long, or UK network, network television in God knows how long, and it was absolutely, I was completely rewarded. It was fantastic. It was as good as it ever was. I'm really pleased with that. The other network, entirely the other side of the spectrum, is the other thing of network television I've been watching, because you know how I like wrestling, and I always say that that's the closest thing to a sport I actually like. Well, that is not true, because I forget for the bulk of the year I don't get to watch World's Strongest Man. And I fucking love World's Strongest Man. It's awesome. I don't understand. Well, it's not that I don't understand most sports. It's that I don't enjoy most sports, because I find most sports long and dull. Football, this is these same guys running backwards and forwards from it. And you can talk all about the technical skill and all about the camaraderie in the cloud you want. I'm not interested. I cannot be interested. These guys have 30 seconds to lift this stupidly heavy thing that humans should not be able to lift. Yeah, I'm going to watch an hour of that, and I'm going to love every goddamn second of it.
Yes,
it's
100%.
Awesome. It's a lot of people like to say of athletes, sporting athletes, they are pushing the boundaries of physical perfection. You get that with runners, you get that with all these sorts of things. But for me, strongman is the one of those style events that I can see it. You know, you can tell me someone can run faster than anyone else on the planet, but it's hard mentally. It's hard for me to kind of contextualize that when they're running with 10 of the other fastest men on the planet. So it all looks like they're just all running quite fast. Yeah. I can look at a strongman picking up 2 giant rocks. I know 2 giant rocks are really heavy. I can't pick up 2 giant rocks, let alone pick them up and then walk with them. Like, there is a connect there that I don't get with any other sports, even Olympic-style sports, where it is just being, the best of the best. Because I find it kind of hard to contextualize how impressive the thing they're doing is. Whereas with strongman, we've tied 2 trucks together. These guys are going to walk now. That's insane. That's absolutely insane, and it's friggin' awesome. A few years ago, I went to see one of their shows live in the UK.
Cool.
It was so... Yeah, I went with a couple of friends of mine. It was so much fun. It's even more impressive live. And also they let us in on the little secret that several of the heats that you see... So the way they show it in the UK is they show the 5 heats, and then they show the World's Strongest Man contest. Well, the 5 heats... for the most part, some of them are filmed about a year and a half before they make it to TV. And World's Strongest Man itself is done in the summer. Oh, no, it's done before the summer. So we went to see this thing in July. They're like, look, you all know who won World's Strongest Man by now, but let's keep it quiet and pretend we don't, because this is going to be a heat for the thing. It's like, it's so good. We're going to put this before the thing, before World's Strongest Man, even though it's already happened. That was great. It was great. It was a really fun thing. All the guys on TV are there for the whole event. And, like, if you've ever watched it, you can hear the passion and excitement coming from most of the guys. And they're just like that walking around the arena. They'll just talk to... Because it's such a relatively small thing. They'll just start vamping to the fans and stuff, going, oh, my God, did you see that thing he just picked up? How awesome is that? Like, yes! It's like, I had a better view than you. This is the best job in the world. That was awesome.
I love World's Strongest Man. It's great.
Oh, man. Yeah, so I've just got round to watching this year's. So I've just finished all of the, what they call the qualifier episodes. The next episode I've got to watch is part 1 of the World's Strongest Man part of it. So I'll slowly watch that over the next week and thoroughly enjoy that.
Yeah, love it. Absolutely love it.
However, not...
Yeah,
go on. So, go on, mate.
I was just going to say, I love watching how different all the strongmen are. Like, you've got... You can tell the direction one of them has gone into just by their size. Like, you can tell, like, for example, one has gone for, right, let's just eat as much as I can and just turn that into muscle.
Convert that mass into muscle,
Yeah, and then you've got the ones that like to stay trim, but still pack on the muscle.
Yeah.
And then you got the 2 different styles, and then you've got like the really tall ones, and then you got the really short ones. And I always used to like Terry Hollands. always
Yeah.
was like voting for him to finally do one. I think the furthest he got third one year, I believe. But I loved watching him, and he actually did both styles. Actually, funny enough, he was one of the ones that just like packed on the muscle, like just ate all the foods that would pack on the muscle, and consequently, you know, he had like quite a big belly. And then he went away for like a year or something like that.
Yeah, he had a nasty health scare, didn't he?
Yeah, and then he turned it around, and he come back like this trim version of himself, and he still lifted those heavy weights. I was like, okay, that proves it. You can do either way. It's just what works for you. It's like, wow, yeah, it's really cool. Sorry, I interjected there. What did you going to say?
I was just trying to think of the point I was going to make. Also, one of the things, and you don't see this much in competitive sports, that I've noticed, that I don't watch, so I wouldn't have noticed. Excuse me. God, my brain today. I'm barely putting together a sentence. Let me try that again. One of the things that really draws me to it, that you don't see in a lot of competitive sports, or I don't because I don't watch them, it's that camaraderie. Like,
yes,
everyone goes into every event with the mindset that they're going to win it, and if soon as they're finished, they're turning to their opponent going, come on, you can do this.
Yeah, they're literally cheering them on. That's
great. At
the
end of almost every event, there's a handshake or a hug or a fist, chest bump or something. There are a few who don't seem to have that camaraderie, but for the most part, I love the American dude who was in WWE for 5 minutes. They always say that. And he's like literally got a character of a villain. Like he comes across and he's kind of like playing it, hamming it up a little bit. But the second he finishes, he's straight there talking to the guy. Come on, man, you can do this. Like, it's really, really cool to see that kind of style of competitiveness, rather it being an outright, antipathy towards the opponents and a sourness if you don't win. Cough, Thor, cough.
Yeah, no, totally. Just I remember when the Beast won his World's Strongest Man. And all the way through that, it was when he finished, like he turned around and cheer on his opponent. It's just like, it's like that's such a different way. That's how all sports should be played. Like, just, but yeah.
And I love every year you get someone trying to beat his record. I literally sit there every year like, I watched this when it was first on, so I've seen this many, many times. I will occasionally put the video on YouTube. That man is lifting 1/2 ton! That's not a thing a human can do, but he's doing it! It's amazing!
Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Someone did beat it, didn't they?
So happy.
Someone did beat it very recently. I forget his name.
I saw it. My mate shot me a video.
Yeah, I couldn't believe he beat it. I was like, he beat 1/2 ton. Holy crap, he beat 1/2 ton.
Yeah. It's
I can't remember
504 was Eddie Hall's.
Yeah.
So I don't know offhand what this other guy's was, but
I think it was 12. 512.
Yeah.
I think off the top of my head.
Yeah, because they're not going to let him do 505. That's
that's just
it's got to be in a sensible increment.
If you're gonna beat it, beat it.
Yeah.
And he put himself through hell to do that. It's just
bet.
Wow. But I loved seeing Eddie Hall lift that 1/2 ton. It's like, 1/2 ton.
It's epic.
Yeah. Because didn't he like almost do it before, but it was judged that he didn't hold it for long enough or something like that, and it might something have, like that.
Don't remember. I seem to recall something like that. But it was quite a few years ago.
Yeah, and then he come back and was like, no, sod you, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
It's like, yes. Brilliant. But yes, some of the stuff they do, like the bus pull, my God, like you're pulling a whole bus, dude. Like, but not just pulling it, you're then trying to run with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely insanity. Yeah, incredible. Love watching that. Yeah.
But it's not all been great.
Oh.
I took my friend to the IMAX. He paid to see Avatar: Way of the Water.
Oh.
Which was...
I've been apprehensive about that.
It was largely what I expected.
Okay.
But it was so... I didn't expect much of anything. And I still managed to come out baffled as to how a 3-hour and 10-minute movie can have so little substance or plot. Like,
no.
It's over 3 hours and nothing happens. Or largely nothing happens. It's the first movie again, but, like, there are no character. It's basically, we're in this place, we know this place. Oh no, we need to go to a water tribe. Like, oh, this is in the trailer. Oh no, now the fight has come here. And, like, there's a couple of little subplot. I was going to call them side quests. But yeah, it's not subplots. There are some other little things that happen. But, like, the story is wafer thin and chunks of it don't make sense. I think it'd be unfair to say no character has a character arc, but pretty much none of them are changed from the start to the end. None of them show to have learned or grown or changed in any way whatsoever, other than they can be in water now. I saw someone put it really nicely the other day, which is to say, and they basically said, I bet the people who enjoy these movies don't play video games, because you see better and more impressive stuff in your average game, and they'll also have a story. Like, I don't understand what anyone is getting out of this movie other than just being blown away by the CGI, which, for the most part, is pretty good. I don't think it's anything mind-blowing. Like, it's not as far ahead as the competition as the first one was. By any means. Yeah. Like, there's quite a lot, because it's over 3 hours, there's quite a lot of this that doesn't look that good, because they had to cheap the budget. And it has all the same crap as the first one as well. Like, oh, we've made this entire beautiful planet. The only animals you see are the ones that are integral at one point or another to the story. I would have wanted my money back if I'd paid for it, but I didn't, so it wasn't so bad. But the thing is, I don't think it's awful. I wasn't even necessarily bored. It was kind of like watching a screensaver. Like, there's so little going on that I just kind of did chill and vibe with it a bit, but I wasn't at no point having a good time, and like having a particularly good time. And when we come out, we just both like, how is that movie so unbelievably nothing?
See, I was always worried about that, like, because the first one blew me away a little bit. Like, I'm quite a fan of the first one.
Fair.
Well, I think I liked the whole idea of someone that's disabled being able to, through a machine, have another chance at a body type thing.
Yeah.
I quite liked that arc and just the whole fantasy of that, new world and what they were doing with like the CGI when that first one came out. I was quite a fan. It did hook me. So when they announced that they were doing the second one, I was really worried that they were A, going to rush it, and B, it wasn't going to hit anywhere near what the first one did. And by the sounds of it, yeah, all those worries are true.
I will say this. I have heard from... I'd not watched the proper review of it because I knew my friend wanted to go see it, so I'm like, well, I'm going to give this a chance, but
yeah,
I don't want to spoil it for myself. I want to go in and, going optimistic, because why wouldn't I? I'm going to be there for 3 hours. I might as well, really try and enjoy it.
yeah.
but I had read beforehand that from a couple of headline of reviews, which the people kind of saying, if you like the first one, you will like this.
Okay.
Because it's giving you all of the same stuff. I would say too much, but
yeah,
because I think it's exactly the same as the first one with loads stripped out. Because
yeah. See, that's what I was worried about. Like
one of the things I was with you when I started the movie. I was kind of like the first movie. I was kind of like, that's kind of cool. Like you say, you've taken someone who doesn't have the use of their legs, and you're using the avatar as an allegory for what people have lost and like this, that, and the other. I very quickly realised that wasn't what they were doing. He just had that idea as a hook, and it was about fucking blue aliens. And it was just environmentalist. It was stuff it's done 100 times before, 100 times better. The thing with the first one of the things that really pissed me off for the first one is the 3D didn't work for me because my eyes are a bit wonky. This is not on the film. No. This is on me, but you could only see it in 3D. So I went in there and I had to sit through the whole thing with one eye closed. The 3D they've used in the second one still uses some of those techniques a bit. There are a couple of bits where I had to close one eye, but for the most, because I don't get depth in films particularly, and I certainly don't get anything come out of the screen. My eyes just cannot do that. But I get the way it layers for me in pretty much any 3D movie is that if you imagine. Did you ever play Paper Mario?
Yes. Yeah.
So, the way that looks, or South Park is perhaps as good a thing as anything. So you've got your layer of paper here, and then where your depth would be, it's actually just using a second coloured block behind it, and you can see the two things are behind each other, but you can see, but they're flat. They're quite close together.
Right, I'm with you.
That's how 3D looks to me. Like, it doesn't add any kind. The depth I get is from the perspective of how the effect is handled. So, as I would look at any movie, 3D or non-3D, it just makes the effects layered over each other, or the things laying over each other, look maybe a couple of inches apart. Like, so I'm not getting any kind of. I'm not getting a true 3D effect. Nothing looks rounded or three-dimensional. Everything looks flat. It just looks like something slightly further back than something else.
That's a shame. Oh.
It's a gimmick. I don't watch movies for... even if I didn't have the issue with my eyes, I wouldn't watch movies for 3D effects anyway. I've never really been an effects guy. Like, I'm more into... Like, I love movies with effects. The way Zack Snyder shows Superman flying is in incredible effects. Like, I believe that in a way that I don't with pretty much any other flying in a movie. He took the time to make that real. But I'd rather watch the bit in The Dark Knight where they flipped that truck over, because they actually flipped over a giant truck. That's awesome. Like, I'm looking for, I'm looking for amusing set details and stuff like that. I'm not, and I love me a Marvel movie and a DC movie, so I love a big explosion and stuff. But I kind of like when they shoot fire all over the place in Die Hard, and Bruce Willis just kind of had to actually run out of the way of it, rather than a big mushroom cloudy explosion that slowly moves up a corridor as the hero runs away from a wind tunnel. I'm never going to go into a movie like Avatar and go, oh, wow, it's 99% effects and 3D. Like, that is not going to hook me for 3 hours. Or 3+ hours. But yeah, it is, and it's full of the same lazy storytelling as the first one.
Right.
They've completely forgot about unobtainium this time.
Okay.
But they do bring in another
revenge.
random magical MacGuffin, which is even more stupid, just out of fucking nowhere. I was very pleasantly surprised that is it Jermaine Clement? It's one of the Flight of the Conchords is in it. Yes, Jermaine. Yeah.
Okay.
Was in it. I wasn't expecting. I'm like, delightful. I always enjoy him on screen. Finally, something I can enjoy. And he's in a very minor part and doesn't get much to do. But he is there, and that made it better. Okay. I wasn't ever going to go into the movie with high expectations, but I'll go into not expecting much, and hopefully I'll get a little something out of it. Yeah, I mean, if you're there for the effects and the spectacle, and you're just there to watch the effects, then you'll have a wonderful time, quite probably. It's not what I watch movies for, and I don't think it does what it does very well. But that's just me. Yeah. That's just my opinion.
I'm kind of in it for the whole thing. If as you say, it's literally a copy and paste of the first one, I probably won't enjoy it. I like a story to progress. I like a story to have substance. Like if they're just copy and pasting because they earned so much money off the first one.
I mean, it's got dumber, and then you said substance. Like, sorry, dude.
Well, that's out.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. I'll wait for it to hit the TV screens rather than go to the cinema then.
That might take away your enjoyment, though.
I don't know. Any films that I find are sort of 50-50 for me, whether or not I'm going to enjoy it, I much rather like to wait till it just hits my TV screen, because then if I don't enjoy it, I haven't really paid for it as such. So I'm okay, that's fine. Whereas if I've gone to cinema, I'd much rather watch something at cinema that I'm not expecting to enjoy, but I'm excited for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the worst thing is, there's nothing else on at Cineworld. I was hoping to get in a little movie this week or something, because I got the whole week off, and I've got to go over to Ipswich on Thursday, so I'm going to have dinner with a friend. So I thought, I'll pop over in the afternoon, see if there's something interesting. It's just Avatar, and I'm sure as fuck not seeing through that again.
Yeah, very, very. I thought normal. If I can get my words out, normally, over the other past years, I'm sure there's always been like a fair few Christmas movies coming out. Not as in Christmas movies, but movies that have been released for Christmas. But this year, just like hardly anything. It's just like, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Because me and my wife was looking the other day, and it was just like, not really anything was that excited to go cinema for. It's just like, oh.
This was either going to be a massive success or a massive flop. But things like it annoyed me with the first one as well. I do get a little irritated when stuff like this does really well, because it sets such a low bar of what creators need to make as movies. We all know that these studios will bump along doing the bare minimum. Like, the bare minimum they can get away with. And stuff like this just... Like, I appreciate this needed a lot of money in tech. You probably could have done it with half the amount of money if you cut half of it out, because half of it is just meaningless nothing. But it's just like... The worst period, like around the 2008-2009 period, where like everything was based on a young adult fiction series of books. All of these 90-minute movies came out that were the setup for a series of more interesting stories. Like Jumper is the absolute pinnacle of this. Just an absolute nothing movie. They're like, right, young adult movies thing. What's a series of that? Jumper. What's that? It's got a guy with a superpower who can teleport. Ah, superhero stuff is also on the rise. We will make a movie of this. And it is themed... Like, they even got in Sam Jackson, and I love Sam Jackson. But it was just the most low-effort drop. It's like, right, existing book plus young adult fiction plus superpower equals franchise. And I was glad that damn thing failed on its ass, because it was so fucking lazy. And I kind of feel the same about Avatar 2. Like, it's quite pretty, but you did this a decade ago. You've not given any depth of character or story or world or universe or anything. It's just the same thing but dumber. And it irritates me. And it shouldn't. I'm a grown man. I should be able to turn my back on this fiction and go, oh, well, I'll watch this. But the thing is, it will make more movies like it. And like I said, I know you can say that about the Marvel superheroes thing. But if you take the slightest bit of open mind into most of these Marvel movies now, they're once again being more led by a specific director. So Eternals was very different from Doctor Strange, which was very different from Thor, which I'm sure will turn out to be very different from Ant-Man Quantumania next year. And and I'm not saying in defense of all of these movies. Their formula is incredibly predictable and I think a little stale, but I think more effort goes into any of them than into something as cynical as Avatar.
Yeah.
And I don't want more... And I especially don't want it from fucking Sci-Fi. Sci-Fi has been doing some wonderful things over the last several years. And it's all super low budget. And as soon as a budget comes along with a Sci-Fi movie, it's something like... Was it Arrival? Future Sean again here. It was most certainly not Arrival I was thinking of. Arrival is an absolute masterpiece, one of the best sci-fi movies of the last 10 years. And if you haven't seen it, what the hell are you doing listening to this podcast? Go watch it immediately. The movie I was trying to think of was Passengers. Now that was bad. Just that dross with two people I quite like, Jennifer Lawrence and your man who said Chris Pratt. Just in the most meaningless, like, bland little... Oh, we're stuck together on a starship. Oh, there's a twist where he's done something quite mean. Actually quite evil if you think about it. They should not have ended up together. That's fucking gross. But, like, that's what gets the fucking budget. And, like, things like Avatar just make it worse. Things like Ridley Scott's newer Alien movies just make it worse. Because whenever you've got a good sci-fi movie, it just cannot get made because it needs a budget, and they're like, oh well, it needs to be something like this. It needs to be a vehicle for these people we're pushing. It's annoying.
Yeah, it annoys me as well when, like, you can see the potential within the story, and where they've done such a low ass effort. It's like it's hit nowhere where it should hit, and so the actual story behind it then suffers because
if you want to
they're making
see
such a low effort.
If you want to see a much better version of Avatar, and I implore all children should be made to watch this movie, you see a film called Battle for Terror.
Okay.
There's a little animated movie released around the same time as Avatar, and it by and large does the same thing, but much, much better, with a much, much stronger message and much tighter characters and better character arcs.
Better all round.
Oh, in every way. It's a wonderful film. But enough about all of that. How was your Christmas / New Year?
Yeah, it was good. Saw the family. Got loads of prezzies. Kids enjoyed it. Did the whole elf thing as well. So that was quite funny, day to day doing stuff. Quite a wholesome Christmas this year, so yeah, it was good. What about you? Did you have a good Christmas?
Yeah, very nice. Friends, family, etc. It's like over a week later, I'm still got friends to see. One I'm seeing later this week, and another one who we've just found out today has pneumonia, so I'll have to go see them. Yeah, bless her. I have to go see them later in the month. But otherwise, it was a very pleasant little festive period, and I had 2 weeks off, which has been sorely needed.
Yeah, always nice.
Have you been up to anything else?
Just trying to pack all the Christmas decorations away, get things organised again. Waiting now for things to progress with the house sale. So, just passing documents backwards and forwards between solicitors and stuff like that. Just all trying to organise what's about to happen in this year. So, not too much, but loads of stuff at home. What about you?
Nothing. It's largely all been Christmas stuff, to be honest. And going seeing people. I am tomorrow, as we record this. It's Tuesday night. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to get my first haircut since March 2020.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's quite unruly and very, very long. It's over halfway down my back. I'm like, when I lay reading at night, I'm like kind of leaning on it and stuff, and it's just too damn long. So I'm getting that trimmed down a bit. I'll probably get about 6 inches taken off, so it's just below my shoulders, because I still want to be able to ponytail it for when I'm running. But at the minute, I ponytail it while I'm running, and it flips around and smacks me in the face. So yeah, have a little bit off that, I think. So a tad excessive.
Yeah, tad. You did it way longer than what I had mine. I think the longest I got down to was just below my shoulder. Yeah.
I've had it about this long before, but that was when I was like 18 or something. That was a very, very long time ago. I suppose the only other thing I've been doing, so it's worth mentioning, is it's either a testament to how little my friends and family know me, or how well, that no one got me a copy of Garth Marenghi's TerrorTome. I'm going to err on the side of they all assumed I'd already bought it. And not perhaps the reality that none thought I'd like it. But yeah, so that if you remember that old show, Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, it was about the author who'd made a horror show in the 80s that was so terrifying. Channel 4 locked it in a vault for 20 years, and they acted like they were showing it now for the first time, and it was this horror comedy thing, and it's one of the greatest things Channel 4 has ever put on television. It's incredible. So yeah, he did. Largely, the character did that. They then did this. This is what Richard Ayoade came from, where he first became known. He was in that, and then they did a spin-off show called Man to Man with Dean Lerner, and that was Richard Ayoade's character, who was a producer of the fake show in this other show. And then that was kind of it. And then, like, a year or so ago, he's just like, "Hey, dudes, I've like written a book." So he's written a book entirely in the character of Garth Marenghi, who is a parody of a Stephen King type, but a really untalented one. Like, this guy's supposed to be a complete hack. And think what you will of Stephen King. He has written some great stories, or come up with some great concepts at the very least. Whereas this guy's supposed to be like Stephen King, but without any of the talent whatsoever.
Right.
And it's just wonderful. And the first story is the writer character Garth Marenghi is writing as another writer who is just this self-insert, and it's just done with an absolute lack of it's all done in this style, and he has a particular way of speaking, but it's all done with a complete lack of self-awareness on the part of the character writing it, but also, as it turns out to be, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's literally just ripping off an incredibly famous other horror story, right? And like, right at the start, like, this is a bit like this, and then he starts describing the thing, and I'm like, oh my god, you're literally just writing this thing and pretending it's your own work. It's absolutely fantastic. The so everything you're reading is an exploration of the Garth Marenghi character and his lack of talent and his lack of self-awareness and everything like that, and right down to the point he's now ripping off a horror story you could vaguely describe to anyone, or at least some of the things in it, and almost anyone would be able to name it, and passing it off as his own work. It's fucking fantastic. It's so good. It's so hard. What's his name? Steve Coogan managed to pull off a similar thing. It's so hard to write a great book with the character that you're writing as being a bad writer. Like that first Alan Partridge book, I forget what it's called, it's on my shelf somewhere. He did an autobiography, and it's quite a bad book, but in 100% intentionally so.
Right,
and this is the same. This is like, if you'd pick this up not knowing what this is, you'd be going, what is this shit? And why is it ripping off this other thing? But knowing all of this, Christ, the amount of effort it must have taken to craft this is nothing short of brilliance. I am astounded by how great and also crap this is. He's doing a book tour. I'm going to see it live in February, so I'm trying to crack the book out before that. But he's also done an audio book, because this character speaks in quite a distinct way, a bit like Alan Partridge. It's a normal voice, but it's kind of got its tics and its quirks that kind of give it flavour.
Yeah.
So I'm quite thinking I've got a free trial of Audible through Amazon Prime, because I've just bought the book. I don't want to buy the audio book as well. I'm not made of money. I'm paying to see the live show as well. So I'm thinking of doing that, and then when I finish this, listening to it in his own words while I'm doing a bit of running, and then going to see the stage show, and it's going to be great. It's really, really great.
Oh, cool.
Also, just as a bit of an addendum to mine and Cameron's discussion on the year in review, as soon as Christmas finished and the shops went open, I nipped back to get the last couple of chapters of Chainsaw Man I needed. Oh my god, that's good. Oh my god. It's so good. I I had the books up to a particular point, and I'm really glad that's the point I stopped, because for the last couple of volumes, everything has completely changed. It's like you're reading a different book. It's kind of like the last couple of episodes of Evangelion compared to the rest of it. It's absolutely fantastic. It just changes on a dime and gets so much darker and much smarter about what they're doing and how they're doing. Really, really like that. Cannot recommend that highly enough. From start to finish. Cool. I've also obtained a copy of the, what was it Cameron was talking about? The thing about the king. Ranking of Kings.
Yeah.
So when I've finished the couple of bits I've got, I like my World's Strongest Man and stuff, I'm going to start that because Cameron has utterly convinced me that needs to be watched. I've seen a drawing, I've seen some screen caps, so I can see why that little bugger has completely taken his heart, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, that's cool.
So, do we have any other business?
No. I think we're all done. I think we need a word.
Well, considering the time of year, I guess the word to prove you have been listening to the whole thing, and on a dirty singular, should be happy 2023.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
But what do you want as a false word? A filthy lie.
False word for all you liars out there. I don't know, maybe I don't know, my mind has gone completely blank.
Excellent. So if you did not listen to this, you must say, I don't know, my mind is completely blank. That is the false phrase.
That's
for
perfect.
This particular episode.
Perfect. That's the line you need to put.
Thank you for listening, and goodbye.
See ya.